Hey, what's up? So finally back with another video on the RX7. Now, it's been a bit, but just been waiting on parts, and they finally showed up. But gotta do a few things before I can actually start working on it. That is getting all this snow off. So all the snow that you see here, that is about 2 days worth of snow. About 3 days ago it was pretty much bone dry on the streets, and then it started lightly snowing, and then boom, all at once. This all came out of nowhere. So first order of business is to get all this shit off, and then I can actually move forward. So let's do that. Okay, so most of the snow's off, and it's a little bit more workable. And let's get on to other stuff. Okay, so here's just some of the stuff that I'm going to be installing today. First up is a CX Racing header. I know it's CX Racing, but I just call it CX Racing because parts are cheap, and this is what most people use to cheap out on their builds and whatever. And I don't really care too much. A lot of people were telling me to just spend the extra 70 or whatever bucks it was for the Racingbeat one. I think it was $274 plus shipping. This one was 206 bucks shipped. It comes with both the gaskets that I need for it. So yeah, I didn't see any real reason to spend the extra bucks on the Racingbeat one. Plus I'm going to be using this engine for no more than anticipating about 3 months, because this is just a temporary engine until I rebuild the 13B. So yeah, that's why I got that. Also went to my friend who had a 12A Racingbeat Holly manifold, so I can use the same carburetor I was using on the 13B, but on the 12A. I am just borrowing this. I didn't buy it from him. So once I'm done using the 12A, I'm just going to give this back to him. Of course, new gaskets and little rubber O-ring things. Even though they're blocked off with pennies, which my friend put in, I might actually take those out and put actual freeze plugs in, just because it's a little bit janky. I mean, I know I do janky shit every now and again, but that's a little too much for me. So, I don't know, we'll see. Actually, no, that'll take more time. I'm just gonna go with that and, put some silver around it. Call it good, hope for the best. And also, a brand new slave cylinder. It's an Exity brand, and this is for a 84 to 85 model. Now, I know that my SA is a 80 model. 79 to 80 are pretty much exactly the same. I believe 81 to 83 carries the same thread pitch for master slave cylinders and everything as a 84 to 85. But I ordered for a 84 to 85 just because, and I also ordered the same for the master cylinder. And the reason I did that is because the 79 to 80 models, slave cylinders, master cylinders, and whatever, they use a coarse thread pitch, and it's a little bit harder to find stuff like stainless steel clutch hoses and stuff like that. And I got that from Mazda Tricks, by the way. They're pretty cheap. They're like 20 bucks, I think, shipped. Maybe a little bit more. I have to go back and check, but I'll put the link in the description. But to use that, I need to use a newer model master and slave cylinder. So 84 to 85 master cylinder, 84 to 85 hardline, and 84 to 85 slave cylinder. And that allows me to use that clutch hose. And that's pretty much my whole reason is for upgrading, is for that clutch hose. That's pretty much all I'm going to be installing. Probably throw the spark plug wires on too. Oh yes, there is one more thing. Completely forgot. It is right in front of me from the beginning of this little part. Now this is a very important piece. It's a brand new oil cooler. Now, why exactly did I need to get a new oil cooler when I already have an FC oil cooler? Well, let me tell you. So the reason that my 13B went down is because of a oil system failure, low oil pressure. And when I got low oil pressure, it started eating at the bearings, and then bearing shrapnel started going through the engine, and then also through the rest of the oil system. So because of that, the oil cooler is pretty much trashed, and I can no longer use it unless I get it thoroughly cleaned out. But I'm just going to trash it and put the brand new one in. And that's why I'm going to be installing the oil cooler. Alright, so enough blabbing and all that bullshit. Let's get back to actually installing shit. Yeah, so I just got 2 of the exhaust bolts off. You have the ones that go back in there, and they were an absolute pain in the dick to get off because obviously as you can see, they're covered in rust, a lot of rust. Surprised that they didn't snap when I got them off, but if they'll actually focus. But yeah, this is a huge pain in the dick. So I think what I'm going to do is put some penetrating oil on them, and on the rest of them anyway. There's 4 more to go, and I'll just move on with doing some other stuff, like you know, the clutch stuff. So I'll go ahead and do that real quick. Yeah, so slave cylinder's in, and my clutch line shit is all finished and ready to go. Just needs to have fluid added, and then you know that'll be done. So here's the old slave cylinder. If you look on the inside, there's like some gray mushy stuff. So I had one fail on me before. This was its replacement, and you know, it kind of looked like that when I took it off, but a lot worse, just more gray mushy stuff on the inside of it. And so I think I had that on for like maybe 2 months or something like that. These are cheap, so it wasn't really too bad. The only thing that sucked about that is it failed at a car meet, and I did some really wacky shit. It was a very interesting ride on the way home, even though my house is right up the road. Still, whatever. Anyway, these aren't too bad for the price. I would have bought one for a lot more off like Atkins rotary or something. It probably would have lasted a lot longer. But this is probably my 3rd Rock Auto one, XD brand. Don't know if it's actually a knockoff or not, just because you know, XD stuff usually tends to be a little bit better quality, but whatever. This should be just fine. Let's see, next thing I'm going to go onto is the oil cooler. Remove this one, and then install the new one. So let's get to that. Okay, so a little bit of unexpected shit. Probably could have looked a little bit harder and noticed this before, but my new oil cooler I cannot directly install because it's a little bit different. If you look right here, there's these little nubs right here that the bolts go into. Well, if you look at my old oil cooler, it has these little welded on brackets. I guess you could call this one a C bracket because this little mount thing goes underneath and then screws on top or whatever. It's a little C shape. And you got this little L bracket over here. They're both welded onto the oil cooler, and the mounts bolt into that. And I don't have any mounts or anything, or you know, any scrap metal that I can make mounts out of to adapt it onto it. So I'm gonna have to go over to Lowe's, get some little pieces of metal, bend them up, and then drill holes, and then you know, I'll be able to mount them in. But that might not be today, and if it is, it'll be later on in the day. If it is, then it'll be in the video, but if not, then you know, whatever, another day. I also ended up taking out my radiator just to make it a little bit easier to mount it on. You know, I don't know if you could tell from the time lapse, but it was kind of a bitch to you know, to get the oil cooler out with the radiator still in. So just to make the installation process a lot easier, just took that out. Also, it'll make remounting these fans a little bit easier. My fan setup is a pusher-puller style setup. It's not the best setup, but it worked pretty well throughout the summer. But it is just zip tied on, and it's not the best because it kind of kind of damaged some of the fins, but this is a cheap radiator anyway, so I don't really care. And you know, the zip ties on the bottom of the front one just kind of came off. So that's another reason I took it out, is just to you know, remount those a little bit better. This back one is actually on pretty good. I mean, it's loose, but it's still on, and you know, it won't go anywhere. So yeah, but moving on to other stuff, I'm gonna move on to the exhaust header again. And then let's see, the penetrating oil should have done its job by now. I actually put penetrating oil on the bolts that I did take out. Ran the nuts through the threads, and it actually did a pretty good job of cleaning them up. Still rusty as shit. I'll probably wire brush them and stuff like that for reinstalling. But yeah, let's just get on to it. Okay, so just got the header off, and just gonna do a quick side-by-side comparison between the Racingbeat header and the CX Racing 12A header. So yeah, just looking at them right off the bat, you can kind of tell that the CX Racing pipe is a little bit thicker than the Racingbeat one. Also, you know, see a weld spot right there, where this is all just one solid pipe. Let's see, I believe this may be a 2-inch, maybe 2 1/4, and this may be like a 2 1/2 or like a 2 3/4 or something like that. Actually maybe 3-inch, I don't know. I have to measure them, but I don't really care too much. Let's see, looking at the exhaust flanges, let's see, I would like these to be a little bit closer to match to the flange, but I'm not really too worried about it. I mean, the engine made great power on the dyno with it like this, so I don't really care too much. Looking at the CX Racing one, it looks like they did try to port match it to the flange, obvious by the amount of you know, Dremel marks right there, or maybe that's just something they do. I don't know. Or probably trying to clean up their shitty welds, because the welds on here aren't exactly all that good. I mean, these are right, these are alright, these are kind of not on the inside. Now, looking at the mid-pipe area, I mean, of course, it's not exactly port matched over here, but it is even, you know, across both of them. Whereas the CX Racing one, well, I can stick my finger in here, I catch a giant ass lip all the way around, except for like some minor spots, but yeah, you really do get what you pay for. So on Racingbeat's website, these are $274 for a 12A. I don't know if it's any more for a 13B because of more material, but should be the same price. You can go ahead and check on their website if you want. And the CX Racing one is $206 shipped. $274 for the Racingbeat is before shipping, because they do charge for shipping. CX Racing is free shipping off eBay, which is where I bought this one. Anyway, yeah, I just want to do a side-by-side comparison. Now I'm going to go ahead and install it. So yeah. Okay, so header's not fully installed yet, and I'm not going to be able to install the exhaust side of it, or exhaust port side of it yet, just because of you know, the fact that the engine's not fully mounted. I need to go get that 12A engine bracket for my friend, because if I try to lift this up, it's just not gonna reach. So yeah, I gotta fully mount the engine before I can do that. Also, I want to show something. If you look right there, that little bolt, it's resting against the weld in the exhaust pipe. Yeah, this header is not very well manufactured at all. It is really cool that it does match up perfectly with the Racingbeat mid pipe, so that's a big win there. But yeah, this is pretty poorly manufactured. It was kind of a struggle getting this bolt and the let's see, and I think the bottom bolt on this side over here. Now my hand's in the way, sorry about that. But the middle bolt right there, the bolt that you can't see the pipes covering it. Those are kind of a bitch to get in. I kind of had to hit them with my wrench to actually get them to go into the hole. But regardless, they went in, and that's still a win, and I'll be able to use this header, and that's perfectly fine by me. But thank God this is only temporary header, because I would never buy this otherwise. Let's see. After I put the remaining washers and nuts on the mid pipe part of the header, I'm going to go ahead and install the lower intake manifold, and I think that'll we'll call it a day for that. Yeah, get that out of there. All right. Okay, so I just finished installing the lower intake manifold on the engine, and I think that's going to be it for tonight, because it's starting to snow a little bit. I can't really see it too well because it's really light, but it's there, and it's only going to get worse from here, and I do not want to work in that because it fucking sucks. So I'm just going to clean up everything and call it a night. Of course, I still need to get the 12A engine bracket before I can fully install the header. So hopefully I'll have that in the next few days. And of course, with the oil cooler, I need to get those brackets made up so I can attach it to the radiator, then reinstall it into the car, and then once it's installed into the car, then I can hook up the lines and hoses and shit like that. Then button everything else up. I do not have the gasket for the base of the carburetor, so I'm gonna have to tape those up and block those off for the time being. That should be here on Monday. I ordered it, I think, on Wednesday, so shouldn't take long to get here. Yeah, button everything up. Should be able to start the car shortly after that, and then tune it, and then I'll have a daily driver again. Alright, so with all that said, I'm going to go ahead and end this video now. If you like the video at all, comment, rate, subscribe, give it a like, thumbs up, and all that bullshit. If you disliked it at all, comment in the comment section below about how I can improve, and I'll try to incorporate it in my next video. And yeah, see ya.